Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers draft analysis. Hopefully, the first of several videos over these next couple of weeks, diving into the all 22 tape of the prospects the Steelers drafted this past week. Today, I wanted to start with fourth round pick Texas A&M linebacker Buddy Johnson, and I'll admit I didn't know a ton about Johnson prior to the Steelers taking him in the fourth round. And I know that on paper, a lot about what gets discussed with Buddy Johnson has been his athleticism, the way he tested at his pro day, running a 4.58, a 38-inch vertical, a really good broad, just really good athletic profile overall. And you see certainly some of that on tape. But today, I want to talk about what's probably less discussed with Buddy Johnson. That's his run defense. And for being a guy who has average to below average size, 6'1, 229, 31-inch arms, I think he plays the run really well, not only in taking on blocks, but just his overall football IQ, reading run schemes, and just understanding what's happening in front of him. That'll be the focus of today's video. Six clips to show Buddy Johnson's run defense. Here he is, number one in these clips. And first one here against Florida this past season. And I just love the patience he shows with the run game, playing inside out. We talk about downhill and being aggressive, wanting to attack the football, and that's all well and good. And I certainly see a good deal of that with Johnson's tape, but you need to play control too and maintain your run fit and not overrun these plays. And so on this play, Florida's going to pull I believe the backside guard. And he's going to just be patient, kind of flowing down the line here as this guard pulls. He's keying that, but he's not going to try to overrun it either. He's going to maintain his run fit and his gap, play inside out. So you're not over pursuing and trying to get over the top of this play to allow the running back to cut back. And he's going to be there as soon as the back wants to cut off the inside hip of the guard. Johnson's going to meet him in the hole with a tackle for a minimal gain. So run this thing the whole way through, but I just love that patience. We talk about, big hits and tackles for loss and those impact plays, but you have to be able to process and understand what's happening in front of you and play with good technique to allow you to make some of those plays. And it doesn't look like much on the stat sheet of 3-yard gain, but, you have to make the consistent plays consistently so you can be on the field to make some of those big impact, tackles for loss and those major plays there. So, again, the guard pulling, he's going to, maintain his run fit here, have his gap, and then as the back cuts back, he's right there, not going to try to overrun this play, not going to try to do too much, do his job. He's able to make the tackle. When you're a linebacker playing in the SEC, whenever Alabama has been on the schedule, you certainly want to watch that game. So I spent a lot of time watching Buddy Johnson go against Najee Harris and the Crimson Tide. And on this play, again, number one in this example, I want to talk about the idea of falling back a gap. There are a couple different ways that you can play run defense. You can be really aggressive and basically kind of a one gap style that applies to defensive linemen and linebackers, where everyone has a gap and everyone's shooting a gap and hoping that someone makes the play at or behind the line of scrimmage. On this one, it's kind of more of a two gap idea for defensive linemen, but also for linebackers, where you have a gap initially and then you'll fall back. So you're not coming downhill and hair on fire, and you're able to adjust when the running back makes a cut. And you see that here with Buddy Johnson. Initially, he has his A gap here, reading this play as a tight end comes up the middle on this insert block. And then as he sees Harris cut back, he's now falling back a gap into that B gap and making the tackle. And so it's not this shoot the gap kind of mentality. The gaps get a little bit funny here. I don't know exactly what everyone's assignment was. You see the D tackle number 5 swim to the inside, but as soon as the D tackle swims inside and Harris cuts back, Johnson's going to fall back and make the tackle. So it's really good run defense all around, where the D tackle is going to basically force the back to cut to the outside, and then Johnson's going to fall back into the B gap and make the tackle. Not quite as square as I would like him to be on this play. He's a little turn. Harris able to kind of wiggle and fall forward a little bit. A good reason to draft Najee Harris in the first round, but just good solid run defense there of having your run fit, adjusting to the running back's track, and then falling back into that B gap to make the stop. This example is probably my favorite play I've seen of Buddy Johnson. And all the tape that I've watched of him, I've got 4 or 5 games on him already. But this one, to me, was my favorite. And he didn't even make the tackle. And I love that specifically because I love guys who are able to make plays without it ever showing on the stat sheet. So let me go ahead and run this thing through. They're going to run power here and pull, I believe, the left guard here, Dante Brown. And he's able to make the right tackle, miss, step under the block, take on the puller, and allow a teammate to be freed up to make the stop. So I run this thing through a little bit slower again. They're going to pull the left guard. Right tackle is going to kind of combo here on the D tackle number 5, and then try to climb to the second level to take Buddy Johnson, but Johnson's able to dip and avoid that block right there. Nice job to get low, still maintain basically his run fit. And then basically what happens there is the second puller that was coming along, I believe, on this counterplay, the tight end number 87, is now forced to account for Buddy Johnson, and now that leaves 32 here for Texas A&M free to make the tackle on the running back. And so the idea was the right tackle was going to climb and work towards Buddy Johnson, and the second puller, number 87, right here, as the left guard's going to try to log or just take care of number 8 here on the edge. Number 87 would work towards number 32, the second color, the second defender to take care of. But because Johnson's able to make the right tackle miss, now 87 has to pick him up, and that leaves 32 free to make the tackle. And it's basically maybe a 1, maybe a 0 yard gain. So Johnson does not get credit on this play. You don't see him on the stat sheet at all, did not make the tackle, but he's able to beat the block, disrupt the play, and allow a teammate to come free to make the play. So look at it from the aerial view here. It's a little harder to tell, but I just love that mentality of beating the block, being disruptive without actually making the literal play himself. Another clip here against South Carolina. Buddy Johnson, number one in the middle, is that off ball linebacker, and just again defeating the block and making the play. There is the number 75, that the left tackle or left guard. That's a left tackle. Going to try to climb and work to Buddy Johnson. He's able to stay clean despite having, not great length. Just again staying clean here, defeating this block. Nice job to kind of, be 6'1", and that kind of helps you from a leverage standpoint to basically absorb this block. Nice job there to show strength to be able to still work through contact, being obviously giving 100 pounds on this offensive lineman here, and still make that tackle in the hole for again a very minimal gain. So nice job there to stay clean, to be able to work through contact and make the tackle basically all in one motion. One last look at it, and we will move on to the next example. To finish out this video, two examples against Arkansas, and a nice job here. Arkansas trying to get the defense the wrong way with some of this jet motion and running counter basically away from that jet motion on this play. But Johnson staying at home, reading and following the pullers. And again, like that earlier example, I believe, against Florida, making the tackle right in the hole on the running back. So go ahead and slow things down for you guys here. There's Buddy Johnson. And again, going to try to get this window dressing to get the defense to shift here, but reading the pullers on this counter play. And again, just meeting the running back in the hole here. He is unblocked and working clean on this play, but has just got a good run fit overall. A tackle again. It's you want to see him be a little bit square, a little more powerful. Running back kind of falls forward a little bit, maybe a hint of a face mask here as well. But putting that stuff aside for a moment, just again being in the right spot. So much of run defense is just about 11 guys as a unit. Run defense is not a one-man job; it's an 11-man job working together and doing their job. And if everyone does their job and carries out their assignment, it's very hard for an offense who's naturally does not have enough blockers. They got a quarterback, so they're working with 10. You have all 11 to play with. It's very hard for a rushing attack and an opposing offense to have success against you on the ground. So I like the patience here, playing inside out. Generally does not overrun plays, takes good angles of the football, and finishes in the hole with a tackle. Last example also against Arkansas, and again, just taking on blocks and defeating blocks. You can talk about, pulling and being unblocked and working in space and stuff like that, but you're going to play in the NFL and certainly play in the AFC North against teams that are going to be very run heavy and have good offensive lines with Baltimore and Cleveland. You better be able to take on and shed blocks. And that's kind of the mark of when Steelers linebackers have kind of taken their game to a next level, whether that's a Ryan Shazier, Devin Bush. They came into the league as super athletes, guys that kind of ducked around blocks a lot. They kind of took that next step. I remember Shazier specifically his second, third year when he became much better at block deconstruction. And so you see Buddy Johnson here against the center number 51, take on the block, shed it, knock down the hands, and make the tackle all in that motion before the back can get through the hole. It's only a 3 yard gain as opposed to something that gets in the second, third level, and now that could be a big play for the offense. So really good hand usage overall for Johnson, despite being undersized or average size, I guess, in today's NFL, and having just 31-inch arms to take on the block, to be square, to knock away the hands. You see the hands go up here of the opposing offensive lineman in the center, and then make the tackle too, and not allow any sort of yak or any sort of big play there. So I think Buddy Johnson has some things he has to still work on when it comes to run defense. I think the biggest thing that gets him into trouble is misdirection and just being able to read and process things. A lot of zone plays, a lot of window dressing can get to him. quite a bit. So I think when he sees it cleanly, he's able to make a lot of plays in the run game. But I think just being more disciplined and just maybe just better, understanding of offenses and film study and things like that, things all rookies have to work on for sure. But I think in Johnson in particular, I saw some issues just of eye discipline and finding the football. But when he finds it, he plays with good technique, he plays with power, and he finishes the play, which is impressive for a guy who's only 230 and a good athlete overall. So I see a well rounded game with Buddy Johnson. I think Seattle's got a good linebacker in the fourth round. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our tape study on Buddy Johnson. Let me know what player you would like me to examine next. Maybe some particular aspect of his game is kind of the theme, the idea I have for these videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.